Welcome to What She Said podcast, the home for real conversations with men about sex, love, and relationships.
It's about that time again. Welcome to another episode of What She Said. I'm your host, Shanae Hall. I'm here with a plethora of guests this week, but let me introduce the regular, my mom, Rhonda Frost. Say, hey, Mom.
Hey, y'all. How's everybody?
Jay, I see you just stepped in. I got Shy, Crystal, Shawan. All my girls are here this week because, like I told you last week, this week's episode is about what women wish men knew before they started dating. I will start, and I might be a little long-winded with this one, so just bear with me. One of the things that I wish men knew when they first started dating, or a skill that men had before they started dating, was communication skills. Now, everybody, you hear communication all the time, right? But what does that actually mean? It means that when you come into the relationship, you understand how to communicate your wants, your needs, your expectations. Okay, that's great. How do you do that? If you think that you are quote unquote brutally honest, you're not a good communicator. If you are brutal about anything, your honesty is going to be negated because we're stuck on the fact that you said something that was hurtful. Whether it's true or false, you've missed the whole communication process by being brutally honest. So let me give you an example. If your girl is gaining weight and she's thicker than you want her to be, and you say, well, damn, ain't you gonna put that down? You already got two chins showing. The fat on the back of your neck is now hanging over and you can't see your coochie. Those all might be true. But because of the fact of the way that you said it, instead of giving it to her with love, which is, babe, maybe we should, not eat out tonight. Let's cook something at home. Let's go walk. Because you communicated your sentiments from a hateful position or an angry position, it's not going to be received, which means you're not a good communicator. If you think you're a good communicator, but you don't talk for 4 days, that's not an effective way of communicating what you're feeling and saying. So I'll start out that conversation. I'll just do one because mine was long. What I wish men knew, and the skill that they obtained before starting to date, is coming into the relationship with communication skills that are effective. Effective meaning you reached your goal of whatever that was in a positive, healthy way. And then, Mom, it's your turn.
Well, I want to piggyback on the communication thing before I go into my long ass list of things I wish they knew. Communication is also listening. I wish men knew how to listen and how to pay attention to our body language and our words. I don't need them to be mind readers, but if they need clarification, say, hey, babe, what does that mean that you would like to go out sometime? Does that mean this weekend? So I need them to be able to come back and clarify even if they don't understand.
Shawan, you want to chime in?
That whole going mute for a couple of days or not communicating, I'm out. That right there is, woo.
Yeah, that silence thing will, and it ain't even because you being silent. It's because you being an asshole. Like, I still don't know. So we're going to communicate in 4 days, and I'm still not going to know why we stopped talking in the first place.
Not talking.
It's like, or I don't know how to resolve the problem because you decided to, we got an argument. Now you don't want to talk about it anymore. And then you want to jump back in 4 days later and act like everything is good.
Hey, good morning. Wait, what?
Right.
So we're not going to do that, baby. No.
I agree.
I had to put the New Orleans in there. I blame their mamas.
That. Jay, what you got?
Be honest. Like, tell me the truth. Like, I would rather hear the truth up front. Let me know. And if that hurt my feelings in the beginning, fine. I can deal with that. But don't, because once you start in the lying and no, that's it for me. That kills it for me. The trust, I'm done.
So when you say what you wish he knew coming in, was it to be that you have to be faithful when you get married?
Answering your question when you put, of course, like that was already communicated. Trust me.
He just failed to comply.
Right. You communicated that on your end, or he communicated that on his end?
It probably was more on my end. In the end, that was probably the understanding.
So being faithful.
Being faithful is really
girl, they know. Now that one, ain't no man walking on the planet knowing that when you say, you ain't even gotta say I do. If we sleep together twice, nigga, we go together. What? I gotta ask you for your hand. You ain't gotta ask me for my hand. We go together. That's something I wish that you knew. So let me just go in and throw that in there and piggyback off of JJ. If you are having sex with somebody multiple times, from a woman's perspective, most women are not sleeping with multiple men. Now, there are those that's out there and loosey-goosey getting it in, whatever. For the most part, when a woman starts sleeping with you and it's a regular thing, in her mind, y'all go together. And with that comes a level of faithfulness. So that might be a conversation you might want to have before you go there.
That just needs to be a conversation, though. If you can't be faithful, then hey, let's put this relationship at a certain level. Let's figure out what this relationship is gonna be like.
Now I'm gonna get into the fun part. The things that we hate, period, point blank, wish you could change, wish they knew, however you want to word it, but things that you hate that make dating difficult. And I'll start with that because this is going to be an easy one. This is fresh on my chest right now. I need to go ahead and get this up off of here. Things that I hate that men do when dating is they send their representative. And there's nothing worse than finding out the person that you've been dating, that you think that you like, oh my God, he checks all these boxes. He's courteous. He's thoughtful. He's responsive. He's, and you sitting over here like, yes, boo, I am in love. Yes. And then you turn around and find out he ain't none of those things. He started being like, nah, I know I kissed you on the Jumbotron at the State Farm Arena, but I don't like public affection. What? What? So I get it. Everybody wants to put their best foot forward at the beginning, and that's cool. So if you're going to send your rep, there's a 2-date rep maximum. 2 dates. By the 3rd date, you need to come as yourself. Period, point blank. Don't have the woman that you're dating believing that you do these things on a regular. I don't care if it's good morning, beautiful. If you text me good morning, beautiful for a month, 2 months, you better keep texting good morning, beautiful. Because anytime you switch that up, I'm thinking that you cheating.
That part.
That's the first thing I go to. Oh, so another bitch getting my good morning text. So I'm just telling you, that's what I hate. Don't send your rep. And if you do, that dude got a 2-date max. After that, show me who you really are and let me assess if this is the person I want to be with. Don't leave me on for months at a time and then be like slowly trickle the real you in. That's some bullshit. Mom?
As for me, I hate the silent treatment. If I text you, if I call you and you're not available at that moment, that's fine. But what's a reasonable time to text or call somebody back? Because that shit for me is a red flag. Ooh, it's disrespectful, or it tells me that I'm not valued or respected enough to get a text back. That'll make me drive to your house, just maybe. So just text me back.
Dang, Mom, you showing up people's doorsteps?
Now I'm too old for that these days, but back in the day, no, it's just disrespectful. For me, it's a red flag. It's like it's one of my top 3. It's like don't do that.
Jay, you want to chime in?
When you say you're gonna do something and don't, oh my God, that right there gets on my last nerve. Like I can't with that.
No, I agree with that. Reliability matters. Yes, being able to trust in his word. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. That's
Crystal, you was gonna chime in.
So, kind of going back to what you were saying about bringing a representative in, kind of sort of along the same lines. Don't fall in love with what you think I am. And this was something that specifically Galen and I had a conversation about in the beginning of our relationship. You know, he's always been very attentive, very honest and sweet. But one of the things that he kind of mentioned early on was, oh, I didn't think, you know, you would do something like that. Or, oh, that's not what I thought you were. And I was like, no. If you'd been paying attention, you would have gotten all the hints that I'm like this normally. You would have known that I'm a crazy person. You would have known that I talk a whole lot. You would have known that everyone's really loud. But don't just assume just because you haven't seen me in a certain light that I'm not like that. Because what you're falling in love with is what you imagine me as, not who I actually am. And
that's a
really good one. Yeah.
You're falling in love with who you think I am, and that's not who I actually am. And how are you going to build a relationship like that?
Like my mom just said, when she was like, I will show up at your house. Don't let the, you know, PD titles or lieutenant or none of them other titles that I got, educated, college degree. Don't let that make you think I won't show up to your house if you don't return his text in a timely fashion.
I'm Asian. I'm thinking, oh, well, you know, you're a Korean girl. You must be really like submissive and ooh. See how docile I am. You want to see how quiet I am? Okay, let's
I like
that. You got too many black friends, Crystal. Your hand moving and stuff, and your head that you just did.
You already letting us know.
Yeah. You ain't her. Shai, you want to chime in?
Yes, I'm just going to say, like, one of my pet peeves is don't get with me and then expect me to change.
That part.
Like, I am who I am. So if you met me and I was traveling or shopping or whatever it was that I was doing, if I was taking care of me and I was having a good time, those are all the things that attracted you to me. You was sitting back and you was watching, you was liking it. You liked my bubbly personality. You liked my friendliness. Don't think because we together, all of a sudden, now I'm going to have to pull all of this in. And I get it. Don't get me wrong. I'm married. There's a level of respect, right? That I have to show my husband. But as long as I'm within that level of respect, why am I going to change who I am? Either you need to continue to like the person that you got with, or you need to go find the person that you're looking for, because I cannot become that person.
Yeah. I know. You know what? Can I say this? I think that what you said is that's so on point. But there are a lot of men don't even know what they want. How about that?
You're right. You're right. They think they know, and then when they get it, they want something different.
Yeah, exactly.
My mom said, check out a man's relationship with his mother if she still exists, and you will find if that person is a good man for you or a woman. If his relationship with his mother is good, he's going to treat you right.
I have found that, if you have a healthy relationship with your mama, if you call your mom and you love her and that's great, but there's a limit.
Respect.
They go too far.
You're right. You're right.
Come on. He's going to
But it's still a good one, though.
He's going to spend thousands of dollars on her, but nothing on you. No. You dating a mama's boy. You are dating someone who wants another mom, not a partner.
Yeah.
And that is a huge red flag. Yeah. If you treat your mom nice, great. If you don't talk to your mom because of something, fine. If your mother is passed away and you hold her dear to your heart, I have dated men who, or rather boys, I'd make something be like, oh, my mom makes this so much better. Okay, well then.
Oh no.
Oh no.
Oh no.
You're not doing that.
Once we say I do, you're gonna love all my cooking. Everything. Okay? You asking, can your mama get a plate?
Or the woman.
You stupid. I'm not talking to you no more. Why you gotta love your spices? Why you gotta love your herbs and spices?
I'm just saying, you want to go back to your mama?
On another note, I won't say another note, on the same note, but added to the list. that men need to understand, and I if you don't take anything else away from this, please take away the fact that no matter what woman you're dealing with, what nationality or what age group, your consistency is everything. There is no such thing as finding a rhythm if you're always off pattern. We pay attention to every text, your tone, your energy, every time. And not to say that you don't have a bad day or a bad mood, but if not, you need to articulate, going back to the communication, if something has happened where you can't do the same or be the same that you were 3 months ago, 6 months ago. Because for most women, and I could be wrong when I say most women find inconsistencies as either you're not into me or you're into someone else. If you're consistent, my mind wouldn't go there. Your inconsistency allowed me to say, why is he being inconsistent? Anything that you do that's been a pattern for a certain amount of time, I don't care if it's been 2 weeks, a month, 2 months, when you break that, if we go out every Tuesday and then 4 Tuesdays in a row, you can't come out, well, what's going on Tuesdays where now I'm not the priority? And you didn't switch it to another date. You didn't tell me why we're no longer making these dates possible. All those things affect how women view you, view the relationship. You have to express those things to us because we're not mind readers either.
I also think, like, I agree with that. And in addition to about being consistent, and we notice it as women, but not only that, I think that men don't realize that not only do we notice it, and sometimes we don't speak on it, but it alters who we are. It alters the way that we deal with you. And so they may not even know that. And now all of a sudden you trying to tell me, well, why are you doing this, right? Or why are you, whatever? Why are you coming to bed in a nightgown? Well, nigga, because you quit taking a shower. I mean, like, but you understand what I'm saying? It's like you changing the pattern, but not communicating with me. Sometimes I may call you out on it, but sometimes I may just react. And so my reaction may now cause you to question, okay, so like you said about Tuesdays, if we go out every Tuesday and 3 Tuesdays go by and we're not going out, you didn't move it to another date and you're not explaining that to me, then on the 4th Tuesday, don't expect that I'm not busy.
Right.
And when you come around and realize that I'm busy, don't have a problem with that. Because I'm not a doll. You don't put me on a shelf. So, but during that time, you didn't even think anything of it. You didn't think that it was an issue because you modified the way that you interact with me. And I just adjust accordingly.
That right there, I need you to say that again slow for the slow people in the back. You modified the way that you deal with me. That what?
I adjust accordingly. Like, okay.
Yes.
As you should. Crystal, you was gonna say something?
So I'm like trying to think, like, well, what do I wish guys knew? And something he mentioned that I totally agree with is not only consistency in behavior, but how about consistency in compliments?
Ooh,
that's a good one.
I agree. I like
that. Yes, I like that.
Why do I have to wear makeup for you to tell me, oh, wow, your face looks really pretty today? Why do I have to do my hair and curls and blow dry and all that stuff for you to be like, oh, wow, you look really you look really nice today.
Yeah.
That's true.
I agree. This is so true.
7-course meal. Like, wow, this tastes amazing. How about you can be consistent in telling me that you care about me, that you like me, who I am.
Girl, you gonna make me cry. You know what? I'm over here like, man, you right now, boo.
And when he pulled that up, I was like, yeah. And he goes, so I'm trying really hard to, be really cognizant of that and to tell you, not only show you, but to tell you how much you mean to me. Thanks.
That I love you. You know, what's funny that you said that though. I did 100 Black Men of America. It's a really big to do every year in different locations. And this particular year was in San Francisco. And I was the moderator for the panel. And all the couples had been married for, the minimum was 27 years. The longest was like 62 years. And so they're all there. And the couple that had been married the longest, they got married when they were like 18 years old. So you're thinking they're in their 70s now. And he says, to this day, I pick flowers for her, fresh flowers from, I guess there was a person who has a rose garden or whatever. He's like, I go and I get her fresh flowers. He's like, and it's cost me a pretty penny. He was like, obviously it's harder to have sex per se nowadays, but he's like, every morning I get up and I hug her and I tell her that I love her and I tell her that she's beautiful. And he's like, and I pat her on the butt every single morning. And I think, at that age, they understand that you're literally on borrowed time, as far as how many more days that you'll get to wake up. And he said, I never take any moment for granted. He said, we never go to bed angry. He was like, I don't care what happened that day. If we got to stay up till 7:00 the next morning and figure it out, he's like, I'm not letting her go to sleep mad at me. So when she wakes up, I'm going to do the same thing. And you listen to these conversations of people that have made it. They're doing exactly what Crystal is saying. They're not waiting till next Tuesday when we go on a date when she's bedazzled to say she's beautiful or I love you. He's waking up every morning. And so what she's saying is so prevalent when you're talking about a long-term relationship where this woman wakes up every day being filled with love, not because her hair is done, not because she got her facial treatment or because she's, dressed up. It's just because she woke up and she's in the presence of this man who loves her. And I paused and I was like, damn, that's goals, So I hope that men take what she said is take it to heart. Like, don't wait for a special occasion. Let today be a special occasion.
Well, can I go ahead?
So I think it's very important to know your love language. It makes for a much better, relationship as far as communicating and showing that love for one another. It definitely, changes things. It really does.
Yeah.
But Jay, what you're saying is the part that I think people need to pick up on is you have to be willing to give it in the way that they receive it. So
yes.
mine is physical.
Right.
That means I need you to touch me. I need to be able to touch you. I need to be able to rub the back of your neck. I need to be able to kiss you in public or wherever we're at, because that's how I show you I love you or I care about you. Don't tell me, well, you need to change the way that you love because I don't like it.
So on another note, can I get back to things that I hate?
Yeah, go ahead. Roll them out.
So I hate that a lot of men judge women by their bodies, whether it's their butt or their breasts, or if they're a size 12 or a size 14. I hate that in our music and in our culture, especially Black men, that we are judged strictly by our physical appearance, not even knowing how much value we have as a woman as a whole. And especially considering a lot of them are lacking in a whole bunch of areas, whether it's their own physical well-being or it's penis size or whatever else. It's like the audacity of you to judge us by what we have or don't have when you don't come into the looking like an Adonis. You don't come into the picture looking like a Greek god yourself.
Hello.
I hate that.
Yes.
Let me say this though. Let me just say this. I went out last night with my girlfriends and their husbands are extremely successful. The women in their own right are successful as far as, college educated, retiring from whether it's Coca-Cola or Sprint or whatever their, company that they worked for. And I can tell you from what I saw that there were different body types. There were women that, whether it had wigs or weaves, bellies or none, booty or not, breasts or not, there's men, and it was like 10. It was a group of, I think, 10 or 12 of us. All of them were married except 2. And they came down and they checked on their wives and they all had fat ass rings and they were all so extremely happy. One of the 10 looked like she worked out on a regular. One. And the rest of them did not. And their husbands showed no less love. They gave no less attention. So sometimes too, we generalize that statement that you just made upon what we see and our
And what we
surroundings
experience.
and what we experience, what our music sounds like. But what I'm saying is there are men out there. I mean, Shai is not a size 2. She, you know what I'm saying? She's beautiful, right? And she got a whole husband that love her to death, and she still do her. And so there's plenty of examples of men that will still get married and fall in love with someone who's not Halle Berry.
Yeah. Nothing in my statement counters that. I just said that in my experience and what I've heard, and women in my circle, we've all heard it. We are sometimes made to feel that if we're not the video vixen or the stripper body type, which everybody seems to be paying money to get to, then we don't fit in. And so it's out there. But yeah, of course, there are men who love their wives no matter what size they are and all of that. But
even that though, like, I mean, if there was an ideal strip, like, I mean, what does that guarantee? I have what people would consider an ideal body. I'm a size 6, boobs, but small waist, blah, 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 fill in the blank, whatever. And nigga, single to the motherfucker. So what does that mean?
Stop with the N word. But no, I understand. And I so get today that it doesn't matter how pretty you are or whether you have all those assets or not, you can still be single. Anybody who hates anything in the sex category about men?
Yeah.
Can we get to the good stuff?
That written down. Wear your proper condom size.
Say that again.
Oh.
Wear your proper condom size.
Oh, I'm married. I don't know nothing about that.
Girl, you know about that when he tried to wear a gold wrapper and that shit fall right off on the inside you. You know
a baggy rubber.
You know you needed a blue wrapper with a drawstring. Don't play. You know what we're talking about.
Those packages that come off the Mardi Gras float. Okay.
Something that always just frustrated me to no end is, oh, you know, they wouldn't say this, but I knew they were thinking it. This girl that I was with said I was really good at doing this thing, so I'm gonna do this exact same thing on her.
Amen, church and tabernacle.
I like Crystal's point about guys thinking that whatever worked in the past on their previous girl
somebody else
will work on you.
Like, hello, we different.
Right. Can we talk about it without people's feelings and egos being bruised? Can we just be honest? That's what I wish guys could do on the sex note, especially after watching Galen and Drew talk on the last podcast openly about sex and the willingness to talk about whatever it is with their wives or their girlfriends, their wives for those two, and having no ego in it at all, just wanting to please their woman. I wish in the Black community, and maybe there are lots of Black men who are open to talking about it without having their ego bruised. I don't know, but it would be nice to be able to have those conversations to say what we like as well. It's not always about what they like.
Oh, okay. I agree with you on that. Like, but I also feel like that's something like early in, right? Like early in, we need to have that conversation. Like Crystal said, first of all, whatever you did to whoever you did it to, and the same thing goes for me. Whoever I did, whatever I did with who, this is a different person. This is a different body. They have different touch points and they have different needs. And so, I mean, it's not a cookie cutter. But it's very important that you have those conversations. Like, you need to be able to tell your mate, I know that you enjoy doing this, but honey, I really don't like it. Right? But when you say it, it needs to come from, number one, a place of love.
Right.
So that it's received right. And then, okay, well, if you don't like that, you also need to be able to say what it is that you like. Don't just leave people out there like feeling in the dark. They don't really know. We just gonna try this and try this, unless that's what y'all trying to do, to figure it out together.
I want to add in, since we're talking about things that men should do up front, if you are part of the 5 and under club, so meaning your penis is 5 inches and under, By the second date, you need to disclose that. The 5 and under club needs a disclosure because that will become a problem.
Say that on the first date, before the first date. I'm sorry.
Before the first date? How you gonna say something like that before the first date?
I'm just saying. Because that's something that we can't see, right? Like, first of all, if a guy, they can see our breath and they can see our ass.
Right.
You got an idea of what you're working with. Okay.
Right.
I can't see what you got in your pants. If you know that that's what you got, you know you wasn't endowed, you know you didn't get blessed. I'm sorry. You need to let me know that you weren't blessed. That's like saying you got a low credit score. You don't date me and then tell me later on you don't have good credit. No.
I'm saying
You see what I got. You need to. I'm sorry. I don't know how you go disclose it, but you better tell me.
I don't want you to pull your dick out on the first date. I don't want you to do that.
Yes, okay.
I want you to do that.
Gotta be a way to say it, though. Gotta be a way to say it.
But you know,
you
most
may
men
just say,
who are proud of that,
blessed.
most men are proud, who's proud, they will send you a quick picture. They're quick to, they're quick to put it out there.
We've all received those, haven't we?
Yeah.
It's the hands, y'all. It's the hand.
I had this guy that we had this conversation. I was like, if it's a certain size, that's not going to work for me. And he was like, well, let me just show you up front, right? But this is what he did. He had his boxers on and he just let, his thing go over the top of the boxers. But that threw me off because I couldn't, when you're close up, anything you close up on is going to look big. And 2, I couldn't tell the ball penis trajectory ratio, right? So I couldn't see if the penis was actually longer than the balls. And so it was false advertisement because I seen it in person. I was like, this is all of 3 inches. And it was detrimental to our immediate relationship. Like, I wanted to cry on site. I'm like,
how soon should we do this, Shanae?
I say by the second date. Like if we're on date 2, and that doesn't mean that somebody's not going to love you because you're an under 5 guy. It just means you're giving them a heads up so you don't miss.
Wait a minute, though. Okay, so hold up.
Some other
that can't be right.
In his tool chest. He gonna have to be good.
That can't be right.
Right.
That can't be right. So, guys, ladies, listen. So you telling me this guy with a small penis? Now let's say that you like all this stuff about him, right? Everything is going good or whatever. Or we're not even talking about even getting to know the person yet. This is where this starts at. We haven't even gotten that far. So you saying we not even going that far.
Yes, Jay. And you like everything about somebody. If the dick size ain't right, that needs to be disclosed. And let me make a choice before I see you naked. Period.
Now the question is, have y'all had people part of the little crew that outright just told you that in the beginning?
No,
they would never do that.
Okay.
Well, let me ask you this. Let me ask this. But did anybody try the little man? Anybody try the little man?
I'm gonna cut this part out of the damn conversation, but I'm gonna tell y'all some shit. So you see how that lipstick cap was?
Now I had somebody a long time ago. And I'm like, oh, nah, this ain't gonna work. I don't care how many dinners we going to. I don't care what your house looks like. I don't care what your tongue game is, baby.
Shy, you couldn't work with him?
I couldn't.
Listen, not. I mean, I could work with you part time, but not full time. I can't say I do to that because I'm trying to be in it to win it, right, baby? I'm trying to be committed 100%.
I cheat on you.
Shit go wrong. I'm trying not to do that. Like, I know who I can be, but I know who I choose to be. So I'm gonna need you to have your shit right. And I knew from that moment on, back then, I was like, oh, this ain't gonna work. No, I'm gonna have to go shoot. It wasn't even a word back then, but that's what happened.
Years ago, long before my husband, there was a guy who his penis wasn't that small, but it was smaller than,
normal.
And he knew what he was doing. He knew how to work his situation. Not saying that I was like totally, carried away with it.
How small?
But
how small?
Let's say it was more narrow.
And
it wasn't quite long. So it might have been sort of like a little bit longer than this. Might be a little longer than this, and maybe it just wasn't filling up the pocket, okay? Like it needed to. But what I'm saying, but I thought that it was a good effort.
So it wasn't a deal breaker though. You still dated him.
I don't say it was a deal breaker, but I kind of thought that maybe it would become a problem. It was a thought that that might become a problem for.
All I'm saying is, don't keep me for 6 months and surprise me.
That's what I'm saying. Don't keep me for 6 days and surprise me. I need to know up front so I can even know if I want to get to know you and ask you questions. But anyways, thank you, ladies, for joining us on this episode of What She Said. Next week, we are going to bring the men and the women together to have a conversation about building a better union between the single and the not single, and where we are deficient together. So instead of us having these conversations individually, now it's time to bridge the gap. Because what I see is, I go out often enough to where I see there are plenty of single men, plenty of single women that do want to be married. They do want to be in a relationship. They do want companionship. What is the roadblock that's preventing us from finding that person that says, yeah, not only are you good enough to date, but you're good enough to be my wife. And I'm confident in what we could build together based upon what we shared during the dating stage. So ladies, thank you again for joining us. And I will see you next week, 7 p.m. Wednesday on another episode of What She Said.